Why was the blue team smaller and had few people? The blue team represented the Continental Army, and they were smaller and had fewer people because in real life, the colonies were smaller than the British, and then the red team was bigger and had more people because in the war, the British had a bigger army and their army men were stronger. The white team had to come in to the war a little bit later because in the war, France and Spain didn't just start off fighting. They joined in a little bit later. And they joined the colonies, but they didn't just start off with the colonies. They joined in the middle of the war. The blue team was offered a prize when they won, but the red team wasn't. Because the blue team was the colonies, and in the war, the colonies they were fighting for independence, but the red team was the British. They weren't fighting for independence. They were just fighting to keep them. So in the war, the colonies were fighting for something, but the British were fighting just to keep the colonies, but they weren't really trying to get something. So one person on the blue team was pulled aside and told that they would not get a prize because that person represented a slave. Because in the Revolutionary War, slaves were helped the colonies fight, but after they just went back to being slaves, they didn't actually get freedom. As soon as they won, they just had to go back. They didn't even get they didn't get freedom at all, and not one slave was freed because of that. The white team was told to cheer for the blue team because the white team was France and Spain, and in the war they were helping the colonies, and they were their allies in the war. Half the red team had to start far away because unlike the colonies, the British had the since they were the colonies were playing the defensive war while the British were playing the offensive war, and so the colonies just had to defend their country, but the British actually had to attack their country, so the British would have to travel all the way across the ocean, and that took a while, so that's why the British had to start far away. The red team had to pull the rope so far, while the blue team just had to prevent the red team from doing that, because the British had to actually attack the colonies and beat them, but the colonies just couldn't let them take so basically the colonies just had to prevent the British from taking their bases, and but while the colony and then the British actually had to take their bases. They had to attack everyone. They had to plan their attacks, while the colonies only had to defend the bases. In my opinion, I think that this was a good way to learn about the big ideas in the Revolutionary War because it kind of helped people think about it a little bit more because they were actually doing it, not just reading it. And I think it helped, especially me, because you kind of get to actually see how the war worked, and then it's not just reading it. So yeah.